topic is introduction to the course. So I will tell you what the subject is about, how to be a successful reader, successful writer, and what is reading and writing in general. So if we begin, let's answer the question, what is reading? Reading is a skill which enables us to get message. So message is some kind of information. Usually all the information and messages which you take are in the written form. So for example, in Telegram, or if you read a newspaper article, everything is written in the form of the text. And when you read it, you get information. So reading is very important for you to get the information you need. Next thing, reading is recognizing the written words or written symbols. So you see the word and you understand that this is the word and it means this, this, and this. Next thing, reading is understanding the meaning. So you not only see the word and recognize it as a word, you also understand what this word means. You understand, for example, if you see the word apple, you understand that this is a fruit. It may be red, green, and it is sweet. Next one, it is grasping information from texts. So all the texts around you, when you look at them, you read them, you take the information. This is what reading is in general. So why do we read? There are actually two purposes of reading for us. They are called intensive reading and extensive reading. Intensive reading is reading similar to IELTS, for example. You are given a text and you are given a number of tasks for you to read. So you read intensively in order to complete the tasks and in order to understand text very well, in order to understand every single detail of the text. This is called intensive reading, when you go deep into it. Another type and another reason for reading is extensive reading. This is when you read from pleasure. This is when you read to enjoy the things you're reading. It may be books, fiction and non-fiction. It may be literature. It may be magazines. It may be articles in the internet. So everything which you read in order to enjoy, not in order to study, is extensive reading. So all in all, we can say that reading is divided, the reasons for reading are divided into two types: reading for enjoyment and reading for studying. Reading for enjoyment is called extensive reading, and reading for studying is called intensive reading. So usually for extensive reading, your texts are longer, and for intensive one, your texts are shorter. So two types of reading. First is word recognition, and second is comprehension. Word recognition is just when you look at the words and you see the words and you know that this is a word. So when it is word recognition, it means you are reading and you're not understanding the text. You just see the text and you just kind of get that this is a text, but you don't know what the text is about. But when you do comprehension, you read the text and you're able to answer all the questions which are given to that text. For example, multiple choice or true false, or if someone asks you what the text is about or what is the main idea of the text, you can understand and you can answer that questions when you do the reading comprehension. So to conclude, word recognition is reading and not really understanding the text, and comprehension is reading the text and understanding it very well. Excuse me. There are the following types of reading and some types of activities which may be used to do them. As some of you maybe know, reading types are divided into skimming, scanning, and close reading. Reading which is called skimming is just looking at the text in order to see what it is about. You do not read every single word, you do not read every single line, you just try to see what's the main idea of the text, what the text is about, what is the topic of the text, so what to expect from the text. You do that when you want to make sure what you're going to read about. Next step is scanning, which is also called general reading. Here you read more attentively. You extract some specific information. You read for general understanding. You read to kind of be able to retell the text. Finally, there is close reading. It is also sometimes called searching reading. Close reading or searching reading is done when you want to completely understand the text, when you want to understand every single detail, when you want to understand every single piece of information which is given in that text. You want to understand why this text is written, in what type of text it is. So close reading is reading the text in order to understand it absolutely fully, 100%. So for example, when you answer such kind of questions as gap filling or multiple choice, you use close reading technique. Next, in order to be a successful reader, we do not just read the text and try to answer the questions. No, in order to read better, in order to be more successful, and in order to answer everything more correctly, we have several stages of reading. That means when we read, we go through several steps. They are called pre-reading, while reading, and after reading. Can everyone please switch off the microphones? Okay, so first stage is pre-reading. Pre-reading is done before you start reading something. These are activities that help you to think about what you know about this topic. These activities are done in order to predict what you will hear or what you will read. So here you may look at the title of the text before reading it and try to discuss with your peers, with your group mates, with your teacher, what the text is going to be about. So for example, if it is called global warming, you may discuss with your teacher what is global warming, what the text may be about. Also on pre-reading stage, you establish a purpose for reading. So here you understand why you're reading this text. Do you read it to complete the true-false answers? Do you read it to fill in the blanks? Or do you read it just to get me an idea? So before reading that, you need to understand what is the person of your reading. Next one, which is done during the pre-reading stage, is improving the vocabulary. So again, global warming. If the name of the text is global warming, you may search for some vocabulary which is related to global warming in order to understand that text better, in order to have better command of vocabulary. Because the more words you know from the text, the better you will understand that. So in this stage, it helps you to understand the text better. Next one is establishing what you know about the topic. Again, by discussing, you may tell that global warming is occurring every day. Just you discuss and express all the ideas which you know related to that topic. This will help you to familiarize with the text. This will help you to get used to the topic of the lesson, to the topic of your text. That means you will expect what to read, and you will be able to read more successfully. After you've done pre-reading, that means you are ready to read, and we go to while reading stage. While reading are actually the activities which you need to do. So you're given a text, below there may be, for example, 5 multiple choice questions and 5 true-false questions. These true, false, and multiple choice questions are your while reading stage. So on while reading, you read the text and you do the activities. So you read the text for some kind of information. You do it to comprehension. So your while reading stage is basically doing the activities and completing the tasks which you are given. This is the main stage where the main process of studying goes, where you may get mark on your reading. So this is kind of the most important part of reading. And here you need to pay more time on it. This is the most time consuming part. The next stage after you have completed all the exercises is post-reading stage. What is post-reading stage? Here you check your reading for understanding whether your answers were correct or not. Also, after you have checked your answers, you analyzed them, you understood your mistakes, it is time to summarize, reflect, and question what you have just read. So we know that always we read with some purpose. We read to get some kind of knowledge, maybe knowledge related to the topic of the text, or maybe just knowledge on how to deal with different types of questions. So you need to summarize what the text was about. You need to reflect what was the most difficult part for you, what was the easiest part for you, whether there were some vocabulary which you don't know, and you just basically need to answer the question what you have just read and what I got from that text. Was it really useful for me or not so useful? So on this stage, you analyze everything. All in all, again, 3 stages of our reading. First is pre-reading, when you get ready to read. Next is while reading, when you complete the tasks. And finally, it is after reading, when you summarize what you have just read and what you took from that text. So now let's move to writing, because we don't only read, but we also write during our calls. We will study writing as well. So what is writing? Writing is the process of using symbols. They are letters of alphabet, punctuation marks such as comma, full stop, and so on, to communicate through thoughts and ideas in a readable form. So you have some kind of ideas. All of us have ideas. We want to express them. We want to tell these ideas to other people. What do? We write them and we send them. So for example, when you communicate with your friends, when you chat in Telegram, you also write. You have some kind of ideas. You share these ideas with your friends, with your relatives, with your teachers. So writing is just a mean of sharing information. It is a mean of expressing your ideas. There are two of them actually, writing and speaking. So speaking is the oral form, writing is the written form. And during this course, we will learn with you how to write successfully, how to be a good writers. Writing process also goes through several stages. If in reading there were 3 steps, in writing we actually have 5. We begin with the pre-writing stage. Pre-writing is pretty similar to your pre-reading stage. Here you get ready for writing actually. Here you familiarize yourself with the topic. On pre-writing stage, you need to think and decide. You need to make sure you understand the assignment. So in order to write something, you're given a topic. You need to understand completely what the topic is about and what type of essay you need to write. Next, in pre-writing stage, you also need to consider who will read your work. Are you writing this essay for your teacher? Or is it a newspaper article? Or is it a letter to your friend? Of course, these all things will be written in different way, using different styles. That's why during the pre-writing stage, you need to think who your reader is. So to summarize, during the pre-writing stage, we first understand the topic. Second, understand who we are writing to, and that's why we choose the appropriate style. After you have done the pre-writing, we go to plan and outline stage. In your plan and outline stage, you gather the ideas. For example, if you're familiar with IELTS writing, in task 2, at first you need to gather ideas. You need to gather viewpoints. So you do this brainstorming technique. You find the ideas, you decide what to write about, and you make a plan of your essay. For example, in your first paragraph, you're going to make an introduction. In your second paragraph, you're going to write idea 4. In third paragraph, idea against, and finally, you want to make a conclusion paragraph. So you plan and outline your essay in order to know what to write about. After you have planned and outlined everything, we go to the third step, which is writing a first draft. Draft means черновик. So here you put the information which you have found, your plan, into your own words. So you had a plan, now you make full sentences out of that plan. Write sentences and paragraphs even if they are not perfect, because this is just a preparation stage. This is the stage when you just get ready to write something. So in your first draft, everything shouldn't be perfect. You just need to collect your ideas. So while you are after you have finished writing your ideas in your first draft, you need to read what you have just written and judge it. You need to say, are these things exactly what you meant? So you need to understand whether you expressed these ideas well enough and clear enough. Do you yourself understand your writing? If yes, then okay. If you don't understand what you have just written, that means another person who is going to read your text later will not understand that as well. That means you will need to change your essay and change your draft. So in this writing stage, you need to change if it is not clear for you, of course. If you think this is perfect already, do not change anything. Write some more, because while reading your own essay, you will have some more ideas which appear in your head. You may add them to that thing in order to make it longer or in order to make it more clear. So after you have made your draft, we go to the stage of redrafting and revising. In redrafting and revising, you write the final stage of your essay, so the final version of your essay. Which is going to be given to a teacher, or which is going to be sent to a friend, or which is going to be published in an article. So here you write like a perfect essay. Of course, you also need to revise that after you have written, because all of us are people. We all make mistakes, and it's totally fine. So sometimes checking yourself will make your text better. Finally, when you feel that your writing is smooth and flows smoothly, then you may go to editing and proofreading stage. This is where you make it correct. You correct the spelling, capitalization, punctuation. You change the words which are not used correctly or which are unclear for you. Here you make sure that you are using the appropriate style formatting again. So this is final last look at your essay when you make sure that your essay is absolutely perfect and 100% suits what you wanted to write. If not, you need to come back to that drafting section again and check and change your essay. This is totally fine. So mostly when you're not given enough, when you're not restricted in time which you need to spend on your writing, you may write as much time as you need just to make everything perfect, just to polish that. I also would like to give you 5 types of writing. We write different types of essays, as I have said you before. First type is persuasive. Persuasive is the type of writing when writer tries to convince the reader of the writer's opinion. You have some kind of opinion, and you may write about that opinion. You need to write in that way so that the person who is reading believes you. He thinks, aha, that person is right. I believe in his opinion. Probably his opinion is a good one. I also will have it right now. So you need to make your reader believe you in persuasive writing. You need to have a very, very strong opinion. Next one is expository writing. Here, the writer tells the readers facts and details about the topic. If you have ever seen Wikipedia articles, they are all expository. So you do not try to make someone believe in what you're writing. You are just giving a list of facts. When someone was born, or where someone lived, or how long the animals live, for example. This is just a list of the facts which you take from somewhere else. Next type is comparison and contrast. Here in this type of essays, You're given two viewpoints or two topics. You talk what are their similarities, what are their differences. Do these topics look alike, or are they completely different and opposite from each other? You just discuss that things and find similarities and differences. Next, fourth type of writing is descriptive one. Here in descriptive writing, the writer tells how the topic looks, smells, feels, tastes, or sounds. So for example, you need to describe a house. This will be a descriptive writing. Here you tell about the outlook, the outside exterior of your house, about interior, you tell when it was built, you tell about the colors of the walls, so you tell everything. You make a picture of the thing you are describing, but not with the help of pencil, but with the help of words. You are drawing it, but with the help of the text. Finally, the last type is narrative writing. Here you tell a story. It may be a true story or imaginary story. So usually the books which you read are all narrative pieces of writing because they have a story. They tell how someone acted or how something happened. So this is the type of writing when you need to present something interesting or engaging to your readers. Finally, I would like to present you 7 habits of an effective writer. So in order to be a good writer, in order to write effective essays, you need to have several habits. And first habit is organizing and arguing. You need to organize your essay appropriately. So for example, we never begin with conclusion. We never put introduction in the middle of your essay. So you need to make sure all your ideas go into correct order, and also your paragraphs are pretty good. So make sure everything is well organized. Arguing means that you need to describe everything perfectly. You need to make your topic clear. You need to present good justification and proof of your ideas. Next thing which you need to know is being concise. Concise means short. Do not try to write very, very big, long, and boring texts because nowadays no one likes and no one enjoys reading them. If you have an idea, try to present it as short as possible. Of course, it doesn't mean that you only need to present the idea and to tell that this idea exists, stop here. No, you give the idea, you try to answer why this idea is true or false, and that's it. Just make sure you use as little words as possible in order people to understand you. Next thing which we need to know is write what you mean. So write directly. Do not try to change the words. For example, if you want to say, yes, I agree, write, yes, I agree. Do not say, well, maybe in that situation, I'm probably not sure, but probably I would agree with you, blah, blah, blah. No, do not try to make your reader guessing what you meant. Straightly say what your idea is. Do not try to make it too complicated. If you mean yes, write yes. If you mean no, write no. Next one, write with the force. It means you need to write so that the person believes you. So that the person says, yes, his ideas are great. His ideas are true. I believe him. He's not lying to me. So your writing needs to be very, very strong. Fifth thing is writing for a reader. You're not writing for yourself. You're writing for a person. If it is an essay, you're writing it for a teacher. If it is a newspaper article, you are writing it to the readers of that newspaper. If it is a letter, you're writing it to a friend, for example. Of course, the styles will be different. Of course, the language which you are choosing will be different. So that's why you need to make sure who your readers are and write your essay or piece of writing appropriately. Revise and rewrite, which we discussed already. you always need to check your mistakes. As I said before, we're all people and making mistakes is totally fine. There is no one in this world who doesn't make any mistakes, and mistakes are not your fault. They are just opportunities to make something better, to not to make that mistakes again in the future. So always when you have finished writing, read it once more and check for all the mistakes which may appear there. That thing will polish your writing. It will make it absolutely perfect. The final thing is avoiding common errors. So for example, a lot of people say I agree, I am agree instead of I agree. So we know that agree is a verb, so that's why we don't need to be. So make sure you don't make common mistakes and make sure your grammar and vocabulary is absolutely perfect in your essay. So these are 7 main steps of writing, and this was everything I wanted to tell you today.